So Innocrin was spun out of Pharmaceuticals in 2014 and is backed by the top life science investors. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be the CEO of Innocrin. I was formerly the Chief Scientific Officer at Viamet. The companies were split to form dedicated management teams that could focus on the development of their respective products. Our lead is seveteranel. It's formerly known as VT464. It's a dual CYP17 lyase inhibitor, an androgen receptor antagonist, and we're focusing the development of VT464, seveteranel, on the prostate and breast cancer markets. We've seen phase 2 activity in castration-resistant men who have failed the market leaders, Xtandi and Zytiga. We've initiated a phase 1-2 breast cancer study. We have strong patent positions, and we have strong cash position. Castration-resistant prostate cancer is driven by the androgen receptor. It's a transcription factor that turns on the genes and proteins that a prostate cancer cell needs. And the bedrock of therapy for castration-resistant prostate cancer is Zytiga, which is a CYP17 inhibitor that blocks androgen biosynthesis in the adrenal and the tumor, or Xtandi, an androgen receptor antagonist that blocks the activation of the androgen receptor. Seveteranel has both of those activities combined into one molecule, which is why it's more potent than either of those molecules alone. Though both seveteranel and Zytiga are CYP17 inhibitors, seveteranel is a much smarter CYP17 inhibitor. It's very selective and precise in what it does. Inhibition by Zytiga comes with a lot of what I call steroid baggage. Zytiga blocks the wrong step in CYP17. It blocks the hydroxylase step that causes a depletion of cortisol, which is why Zytiga has to be administered with a cortisol replacement, prednisone. It also causes an accumulation of aldosterone, which causes a lot of the side effects driven by Zytiga, particularly hypertension and hypokalemia. It also causes an increase in upstream steroids, progesterone and pregnenolone. Progesterone, pregnenolone, and prednisone can all cause certain prostate cancers to grow more quickly because they activate the mutated androgen receptors. VT464 is very clean. It blocks CYP17 lyase, no depletion of cortisol, no effect on upstream steroids. VT464 is given once a day as tablets without prednisone. Seveteranel has been fast-tracked by the FDA for the treatment of first, second, and third-line castration-resistant prostate cancer. Zytiga and Xtandi are very effective in early-stage patients. That is first line, as shown in green. They do not work, or they work only modestly in the second and third line. It's our intent to develop seveteranel for the second and third line indications. These are approval trials that can be done with 150 or 200 patients. They can be financed by us. They can be run by us. Our development strategy is to get a foothold in the second or third line setting markets and then backtrack into the larger lucrative first line setting where seveteranel has already demonstrated significant activity. The breast cancer markets are even larger. The breast cancer markets are more evolved. The breast cancer subtypes are classified according to the growth factor receptors that they express, like the ER, which is the estrogen receptor, that can be manipulated with an estrogen receptor antagonist like tamoxifen or aromatase inhibitors. Aromatase inhibitors combined had more than 3 billion peak sales globally before they went off of patent. The human epidural growth factor receptor 2 can be manipulated by Herceptin. Herceptin had more than 6 billion in global sales last year. The triple-negative breast cancers do not express either HER2 or ER, but they do express the androgen receptor. And recently, Xtandi, the androgen receptor antagonist, has shown activity in triple-negative breast cancers. Nobody's had the right molecule that manipulates the androgen receptor to test the hypothesis of whether a molecule that blocks androgens in breast cancer can be an effective therapeutic. We believe it can, and we believe it can be quite lucrative. You can see that the androgen receptor is expressed in all breast cancer subtypes. Our initial focus will be on triple-negative disease. We're following in the footsteps of Xtandi. We think we have the superior agent. We're also treating women who have ER-positive disease, who've been exposed to either an estrogen receptor antagonist or an aromatase inhibitor. This is the largest cancer population in the world. The AR is heavily expressed, and the AR is prognostic of poor mortality in these women. Our last financing round was led by Fred Eshelman, who in a few hours will be the recipient of the Lifetime Science Leadership Award, and we at Innocrin congratulate him. We think it's well deserved. We thank Fred for what he's done for the community and for us in particular. This was our first independent financing round. All of the major existing investors also participated: Novartis Venture Fund, Lilly Venture Fund, Hatteras, Intersouth, and Lurie. We've received additional funding support from the Prostate Cancer Foundation and the National Cancer Institute. And the cash will take us to key validating milestones in this year and early in 2017, as shown on the next slide. Our phase 2 results in 2017 should provide us with lots of flexibility for strategic options going forward. The management team is shown here. In addition to me, Chuck Osborne joined us from Synexus, a public company where Chuck led the initial public offering, and we're glad to have Chuck on the team. Our highly experienced and savvy board of directors are listed here. It's a mix of investors and independent directors. Doug Reed's our chairman, Fred, Andy von Eschenbach, local stalwarts, Rick Kent, Bob Schatzinger, Steve Weinstein, Ed Torres, and Chris Wood. All a privilege to work with all of these guys. I hope that I've convinced you that Innocrin's a compelling investment opportunity. I encourage you to follow our progress in the coming year, and we welcome any input from those of you who have ideas how we can accelerate our business strategy based on financing, partnering, or clinical development initiatives. Thank you for your time.